A person's interpretation of a movie will always in part be a reflection of themselves, even if they don't realize it. I'm John Berry, and today we're going to be talking about that. Now, I made this as a tweet a couple days ago, and I thought I would elaborate and explain what I meant by this in the video. I did this in response to seeing all the different interpretations of The Rise of Skywalker on social media, but this is also me reflecting a bit back on The Last Jedi. Whatever a person thinks of a film will always be a reflection of them. If they are a critic and think about things very analytically and look at structure and all that, they're going to be more critical or something, and they're probably going to like The Last Jedi. Not Last Jedi, which was a very, structurally good film. You can't ignore that, except for some parts which I have complaints of, but that's mean that and everyone has slightly different interpretations. Even the critics who are supposed to be, the experts in the field in their field, or an type of expert who are good at analyzing and evaluating things. But The Rise of Skywalker, critics are not liking because it's not a good film, even though I certainly enjoyed it, and it's definitely, in my opinion, better than The Last Jedi from an enjoyment standpoint, but not necessarily from a filmmaking standpoint, which are very different. So if you're going in looking at the film from a filmmaking standpoint, you're going to think very differently of it than somebody who goes in simply because they want a good film that tells them something. And even then, do you want a good film that tells you something? So do you want to get the message out of it, or do you want to be enjoyed? That will affect a film as well. And those are mindsets. Like, are you looking at how the film was made, the filmmaking aspect? Are you looking at enjoyment factor? Is it a fun film? Or are you looking at, does it tell you a message? And of course, all those can overlap, but those things will inform your interpretation of the film. But there's other things more than just, looking at how, more critically, from a more academic standpoint, enjoyment or message. Those things, sure, but there's other things, too. Like, your expectations will affect the film. And that's, I think, a big reason why so many people didn't care for The Last Jedi. Their expectations colored their interpretation of the film, and many of them didn't realize it. Now, let's go get into all the isms, shall we? So basically, I'm going to be talking about politics, but your politics will reflect, or be reflected in your interpretation of a film. If you didn't like the counter-bite sequence, well, there's a good chance you're probably, a big supporter of free market capitalism. Maybe not exclusively, or a big supporter of rule of law, but there's a good chance that if you like counter-bite, well, you're probably a bit mad at the millionaires in your country, or billionaires even, the wealthy. That's probably going to be reflective of what you thought of counter-bite. That's not necessarily true, but it is always a possibility. Or if you hold some bigoted views, sexist views, racist views, well, you may have some pretty negative interpretations of films with diverse casts and all that. It's just something we gotta be aware of, unfortunately. But those things will color your interpretation of a film. There's also, biases you don't even realize that could be coloring. And there's actually a term for that. Implicit bias, I believe. It's basically the bias you don't realize you have, which is probably the hardest to overcome, but it is probably one of these things that will be reflective the most. So I've talked a lot about a couple of things about isms, about politics in a certain extent, and mindset, but everything about you will reflect your interpretation of a film. There is simply no way around it. What were you looking for in a film? What do you normally enjoy? I'm not a big fan of romance films. That's probably why I rank Attack of the Clones lower than The Phantom Menace, even though there's many people who say The Phantom Menace is worse. well, they probably are a bit more receptive to romance stories than I am. I don't object to them, but that's not what I look for in a movie. In fact, that was one of the main things I didn't want in The Rise of Skywalker going forward. And we got hints at it, which I don't mind, but we got nothing, no pairings, no definitive couplings, and I like that. Some people probably would, especially the radar community, would have loved. Okay, they probably did enjoy Kylo or Ben and Rey that one small kiss, which I think you can interpret in many ways. Like, definitely there's the radar interpretation, but there's a few others you can also make in regards to the, other ways, connections and such. But I kind of interpret it as them like, yeah, if they were both in the light side, they would have paired off. That's how I interpreted it. In the radio community, that was, I would say, pretty good for them. But many of them are mad because it's not what they... Sure, they wanted Kylo, or should I say Ben, and Rey to pair off, but, guess what, though? That didn't happen. They didn't pair off. They didn't become a romantic couple like Han and Leia did. And so they didn't like The Rise of Skywalker, even though it gave them a little bit of what they wanted. And then the people who were totally anti-radio didn't like it because it got too much of what they didn't want. It's like, their mindsets of, like, the shipping of those two characters affected what they thought, could affect what they saw in the film. Somebody like me who wasn't a radio fan but understood it, in fact I did a whole video about it and how it represents yin and yang. I think I might need to remake that video, how Ben was, Kylo was the darkness and the light, and Rey was the light and the darkness. That's actually probably a better interpretation than what I did, but I was receptive to it, especially and only if Redemption could, which it did. So I was like, I rolled my eyes like, oh, they did it, but it didn't break the film for me. It wasn't a moment that ruined it, just something I'll always complain about because it's one of the few things I actually have to complain about. And maybe that's because I was nervous going in, I wasn't going to like it, so I was like, so maybe I psyched myself up too much, and who knows how I'll feel in a week or two, even a year from now. But like, I came in with this mindset of, okay, I want limited romance. I didn't necessarily need another answer to Rey's parents, but I wanted confirmation that her parents were still good people, which we did get. No, they chose to be nobodies to protect Rey. And then, of course, we got Force goes to Luke, and I really loved. And there's many other things in here that like I knew I wanted and just didn't realize I had wanted. And like this film made me realize, like, of course I wanted them. Like a true final completion to Luke's arc. I didn't realize I wanted it, but I'm so glad I got it. And then, of course, there's many other things that the film gave that I did not know that I wanted. Another thing the film that gave me that I didn't know I wanted was Kylo holding the Skywalker and wielding the Skywalker lightsaber. I did not know I wanted that, but I was like, yes, do it! It's like, as soon as Leia's lightsaber was revealed, I was like, Ben better be getting the lightsabers, the Skywalker lightsabers at some point in the film. Like, I realized it before he did in the film, but like, I did not know I wanted that until it was set up in the film. It's like, yes, of course, if Rey gets Leia's lightsaber, then Kylo should be getting Luke's lightsaber, Luke's old lightsaber, or Anakin's lightsaber. It makes so much sense. It's like, I did not know I wanted it until we got it. Oh, it was set up. It's like, of course I wanted that. I just did not realize I wanted it. And that's what I'm getting at. Like when you look at your own interpretations of the films, maybe a bit more critically, you can realize the things that you wanted but didn't know you want. And some people have said this for both The Rise of Skywalker and The Last Jedi, but it comes from a Batman movie. No, may not be the hero we wanted, but the hero we need. So it may not be the movie we wanted, but the movie we need. And for what I'm talking about here, it's just simply got the point, the story arcs that in moments that we didn't know we wanted, but we needed, and may have secretly wanted. And that is what that tweet of mine means. It's that what you get out of a movie not only is reflective of you, but it's reflective of your wants that you didn't even know you needed, and your needs that you didn't even know you wanted. It's why, in my opinion, The Rise of Skywalker is a satisfying conclusion to the saga. Yes, it may have been a hot mess critically. It was, though, without a doubt, certainly a fun film. And for me, it was the messages, I think, were more emotionally impactful than any message that Rian Johnson gave us. He may have given us maybe some more hard-hitting points, more critical points that we needed to think about, but what JJ gave us in The Rise of Skywalker were he gave us the answers, for lack of a better term, but he gave us stuff that we needed, but we didn't necessarily know what we wanted. Especially what I took away as the central message of the film. Confront fear. Don't run, don't hide from it, don't suppress it, don't give in to it. Confront it. I did a whole video about that a while ago, so please check that out in the cards. But yeah, the film gave me what I didn't even realize I wanted or needed. It gave that to me. It reflected me without me even realizing it. Or should I say, my interpretation reflected me and then I thought about it and saw how your interpretation is a reflection of yourself. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. There's also the subscribe button. Let me know down below. How do you think your interpretation of The Rise of Skywalker, or even the other sequels films, or any of the Star Wars films, reflect yourself? Like, what in your interpretation of the film you think is a reflection of yourself? I would love to hear from you. And that's actually all I have for you in today's video, so thank you for watching. Please be sure to like it and subscribe to stay up to date on future content from me. And there's also my links for my social medias, my Facebook, my Twitter, my Discord, my website, my Patreon account if you would like to support me. All that's in the description, so feel free to head down there to check it out. And as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you, always.